Look at this guy. You won't get a better view of this guy than right now because he is stuffed. This is the great blue heron. All these birds are like fishing birds. This is a wood stork. A wood stork. The other day I Instagrammed pictures, I think it was these great egrets that I Instagrammed on Saturday, where they had all these, there was this little pool and there was a whole bunch of these guys, say maybe 30 to 50 in this little pool out by the beach. It was really crazy. Look at that guy. Isn't that magnificent? These guys are very hard to find. Never in my life have I seen one in the wild. I think it's a Florida cougar. Looks like it was about as big as a really large dog. Oh, it's a panther, sorry. Panther. Also called the puma and a cougar and a mountain lion. Apparently we have these, but they're you don't see very many of these guys out. Look at this eagle. This is probably as close as any one of us will ever get to an eagle, unless you're some kind of wildlife person. Because eagles usually nest in very high trees, and you rarely ever see one close, unless you have a really big camera or something, or binoculars. You know, the snake I hear about the most is the pygmy, which is this little guy here. They're not very big. This thing only looks like it's about maybe a foot long. And they're real small. I've never seen one before. I've seen a lot of other snakes, but not this guy. But these are the ones that are supposedly responsible for a lot of bites, I guess, and you have to go to the hospital if you get bit by one. This black racer would be the one that you would see the most common. I've seen many, many times this guy, and they're usually sitting out in the sun, and when you come by, they race off really fast. You see that little dude in the back? That's a water rat, or a river rat, I guess they call it. They had this diorama with all these little different guys in there. This guy is an otter. A couple weeks back I saw one running across the road, this guy, believe it or not. And they actually can get really big, like the size of dogs, the ones around here. You're a good otter, aren't you? Good boy. If you're ever in Myakka Park in Sarasota, make sure you come and watch these movies, because it'll teach you a lot about like what you should see and why things are the way they have. Like a little movie room in here where you can come in and watch a little film. Actually, they have a couple films that you can watch, but it's worthwhile spending a few minutes in here watching films. Most of them are like 3 or 4 minutes.
They could be knocked off the trees by hundreds. We were at the same time warned that we should have to rough it, in the severest sense of the term.
It's amazing, when that airboat was leaving, this guy didn't even move one muscle. Airboat just drove right by and he's just plumb tuckered out. His legs are all stretched out there, catching some afternoon sun. Is that a hidden Mickey?
What size on that, honey? I got the small or large.
If you look right there on that limb in the middle of this field, you'll see a turkey vulture chilling on a branch there, which you never hardly see them. They're either on the ground or up high in a tree. So it's pretty unusual to see this guy just hanging out on this little limb out here. Look at all these snails out here. A couple hundred snails out here. I wonder if it's because the birds come out here and eat these snails and they leave all the shells out here. Maybe somebody's been eating shells, as well as this oyster. I know otters like to eat that, but I don't know if the otters were out here. So this is the spot where you want to go at this time of year. See several alligators and all kinds of birds over here. This is like the social club for the alligators right here. Look how close that bird is to the alligator, just right next to him, practically. they don't seem to be hungry for bird today. Especially that bird. So we've been out to Myakka Park many times on the vlog, you guys and me. Been out here hiking and looking at alligators and looking at deers. I've probably done about 5 or 6 different vlogs over the last 2 years. But I have never covered the canopy walk, which is sort of a combination of a very high like bridge walk with a very high tower that's like 50 or 60 feet tall. So this will be the first time I've ever vlogged this. I think one time when I came it was closed. They're sort of redoing it or something. So this will be the first time that we've seen the canopy together. So this is what the canopy walk is. It's got a very high tower. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe about 7 levels, maybe about 70 feet tall at the end. And then this wood and cable structure that goes from this, like, I think this is about 30 feet maybe. So people will walk and you can see out over the trees. And I guess scientists like this because they can observe what's going on in the canopy. But also when you get to the very top up there, you can see pretty much the whole park. Oh my God. So if you're looking down by that tree down there, there's the cable anchors, and the cables go all the way up here to hold the bridge still. And there's also some side supports that go way off in the woods up here to sort of anchor this off. It's about a 30-foot, I think, height right here on the one side, and then you go to the other side and you can go up taller. But you can see down a good view of the trees. I guess if you're a nature person, you can enjoy seeing all the little critters and the stuff in the trees. It's like kind of like, it's almost like what is that, Swiss Family Robinson's treehouse, where you're up in the trees. And there's actually, when you come down here, there's actually a branch that comes across, but you're at some point you're looking down a little bit on the trees as you go across. It's a little bit bouncy. You can see all the cable works that are holding each one of the boards that hold up the bridge here. So it's very safe. It just wiggles a little bit, I guess you could say, as you go across. It's a little bouncy, a little on the bouncy side. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's sort of swaying. Then you got this tree limb. You got a duck. And here's the other tower that goes way up, so you can see out over the park there. This is about 40 or 50 feet up. This is like about 3 levels from the top. You can see it's just to the edge of the top of the trees, palm trees and all the oak trees you can see out there. Not at the top yet, but very close. Looking down, you can see there's some people look like ants. Actually, there's no people down there. But there's my shoes. You can see this area is not very big. It's only enough for about like 6 or 7 people. It's a little small area at the very top here where, with a telescope you can actually pay for. It reminds me of one time I was invited to go climb a what do you call that? A rappelling tower. Rappelling tower was 60 feet. This is 72. It's hard to believe. Oh, I almost fell. It's hard to believe it was that tall. I don't recall the tower being this tall when I was there, but can you imagine rappelling off of this with a rope? That would be a long way down, hanging from the end of a rope, and at night too.
We just got here.
Everybody seems to be enjoying the top of the tower, 72 feet up above Myakka Park. You can barely see it, but the road actually runs right there where that little cut in the trees are. The road runs through these trees, but it's so dense up here, you can barely see it. So that was about the most people I've ever been up to the top with. That was 13 people and 1 dog up there. That's the most I've ever been. This is a really busy time It's a Sunday, but still a lot of fun. A lot of kids having fun and dogs. And so the Canopy Walk, a great adventure for the family. If you're coming out to Myakka State Park in Sarasota, make sure you adventure this because it is a pretty spectacular view. You can get some great pictures from the top. It's fun. It's a lot of fun for the kids that have never been up above the forest or never been on a bridge like that. It's like kind of like the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. That's what if you've ever been to there in Orlando at Disney World. It's a lot of fun. That's the famous airboat tour that you can take around the lake and go see all the wildlife and stuff, and they show you all the cool stuff. It's very noisy though.
You know, I don't think I've ever heard of a chicken turtle. Heard of the box turtle and the cooter. Never heard of a chicken turtle. Maybe I get them confused because this one looks a lot like this one. Look at these little skinks. Ground skink. It's like a lizard but different, I guess. They're skinkier, and they have like a little blue tail. That one. It's funny how many people describe a snake as a gardener snake, or a garter snake, or a garden snake. I think it's just like a common thing to say, oh, that was probably a garden snake. But I don't think we even see garden snakes around here. Caracara. I think this is called a caracara. I've never seen one like that before. Supposedly it's part of the falcon family. I've never seen one with an orange bill before.